Hey guys, welcome back. I'm working on something different today. I am making shelves for a back of a bar in a restaurant, and we're doing a lot of interesting things with it, so I figured I'd make a little video of it. So what I'm doing now is I am cutting channels into the front edge of these shelves. Okay, these are 8.5 inches deep, 12 foot long. I radius the edges. I had to splice these right here. You'll see right here there's a little seam, which that'll get filled with wood filler. I used 3 1/2 inch dowels, 5 inches long, drilled into each side and clamped together. So they wanted these brass inserts put in, okay? So what I did was I routered it just enough for this to fit in here perfectly. So this will fit right in this groove, perfectly flush with the wood. Now, I'm gonna glue these in here with contact cement. Once they're glued and dried, they want me to take the belt sander over this edge right here and sand all of it. And that's gonna leave like a brush marks, like straight sanding marks on this brass edge here, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is tape it off with some 1/2 inch tape or 1/4 inch tape, whatever I have to do, so that when I stain the shelf, I don't get stain on the brass. And then I'm gonna leave that tape on because I'm going to use an automotive satin clear on these shelves, so that they'll be durable for the glass bottles and all that, so they last a long time. Now, once I get done with these grooves, I'll show you on the next one here how I do it. I need to put a groove in the back of the shelf here on both sides, top and bottom. Reason being is there's a metal track that's going to go in here. There's an LED light strip that's going to go into the metal track, and then there's going to be a piece of frosted wavy glass that's going to sit on top of the LED light strip that's in the track, and it's going to go between the 2 layers of shelves. Okay, and then that LED light strip's going to backlit. It's actually going to light the glass itself up. I don't know if it's lightly frosted or if it's clear. I honestly haven't seen it yet. I'm not doing the glass part of it. I just have to get these shelves built and installed. So basically the LED light strip's going to be on the top and bottom of each glass panel, and it's going to light that piece of glass up and make it look really cool behind the bottles. Now, these cleats here, I have to router into the back of the shelf. These cleats are going to hold it to the wall. And then in these tubes here, I have 8 foot long, 1.5 inch brass pipes. And those are going to go between the shelves in the front. They want 4 of them. And then these are what the brass pipe is going to sit in. So this is going to get screwed to the shelf, top and bottom, brass pipe between it. And then we're just going to stack all 4 shelves up just like that on the front. And I'll do a video of it once it's installed. But I wanted to do a video here, not a real long one, but I figured, you know what, this is kind of something different. And figured I'd show you guys how I came up with getting the perfect groove in the center of the shelves without them being wavy or, you know, off or anything like that. Now, the brass is perfectly flush. If the brass ended up a hair high or a hair low, it really wouldn't matter much because I'm gonna run the belt sander along that. So that wasn't an issue, but luckily I set it, you know, just about right. So this is a cordless Bauer router that I'm using. Yes, it's a Bauer tool. Yes, these work really well. I don't care what anybody says. I have all DeWalt in my van over there. I have Bauer in my shop, and they work just as good as the DeWalt's. Maybe 1 or 2 of their tools don't, but for the most part, they work as good as theirs. So what I did was I evenly spaced 2 pieces of scrap 1 inch pine. And what that does is that really holds this in place on the shelf. It's a tight fit. But what it does is it causes this router not to want to walk to the right or left. It can only go back and forth. And that's what makes it give you a nice even cut. Now the edges are kind of a pain because you have to go around the corner. And I noticed that the wood looks like it is a little bit routed deeper in the corner here, but not a big deal. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna run the belt sander on it, and that's gonna straighten that out. So let me go get the tripod and I'll cut one on camera and I'll be right back. Okay, let me get this router set up here and we'll run a groove down the center of this one. The ends are kind of a pain. I got to hold it in the air, but it is what it is. I only have 2 shelves to go. I already did the first 2. And that's all there is to it. It gives me a nice groove for my brass to sit in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the last one. Then I'm waiting on measurements for the back groove. I need to know how far away from the back of the shelf they need to go. And then I also need to cut grooves for those wall mounts for the back of the shelves. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so now I am setting up to cut the groove in the back of the shelf to accept these brackets. So these brackets screw on the back of the shelf like this, but they need to be routed into the back of the shelf so that they're flush. And then this gets mounted to the wall. And what happens is you take your shelf and this is mounted to the wall, this is mounted to the back of the shelf. You take your shelf and you put it over top, just like that. Now, it's gonna basically, I might have to, I wonder if I can slide it in on an angle. So the measurement is 1 3/8. And the shelves are about 1 3/4. So it only leaves me about 1/8 inch of wood on the top and bottom. So what I need to do is take some wood cleats again and screw them to my router about 1/8 inch from the top and bottom of the bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cleats on here, and then we can do a test run on a scrap piece and see what it looks like. Okay, let's give this a try. Obviously, I'll have to do a third pass with the router to get the center out. But, so this will sit in here. I gotta go deeper too. Just was testing it to see. So if that's mounted in there, and this is on the wall. Yep, it'll work. Okay, so let's go over there and try one of these, and I'll do the rest off camera. Now, I don't want to go all the way to the edge either. I want to keep maybe 1 inch in from the edge or so. Let me set the thickness of this real quick, the depth of it. It's 3/16. Okay. Put my goggles on here. Basically, I'm going to go where the router base stops. That's where I'm going to stop my groove. Now, I have to do both directions and then the center afterwards. Trying to get this set. there's the first side. It kept stopping a couple times because the battery's starting to die out. And I'm cutting full thickness depth all in one shot. So I'm going to go the opposite way and do the same thing. When I first started routering over here, I was running the router backwards. All right, let me blow this off real quick. So now you can see I have the two grooves. Now the center just needs to come out. I'm not going to do the center until I do all 4 shelves with the 2 outside grooves, and I'll come back and knock the center out. Now, as you see how I've been using the router, I have a fence on both sides, and it's kind of hard to get it adjusted to where it's not too tight or too loose. But the reason why you do that is it keeps, routers like to tend to kick out. If you only put a fence on one side, you run the risk of it kicking out and ruining your piece of wood. So I put a fence on each side, and what that does is secures it from going right to left on you. So now I'm going to do the other 3 shelves just like this, and then I'll come back, reset the router, and we'll knock out this center part. Okay, I have this set up for the center now. This isn't as critical. As long as it doesn't hit the outer edge, you're fine. But I still am running my fence here, just to make sure I don't screw it up. I need to put it a hair deeper because it's a hair high in the center, probably because of the carbide tips are only on the 2 outer edges. It's probably causing it to be a little bit off. Try that. Sometimes it takes several tries to get this thing to get it exactly where you want it. Now we're good. Let me blow it off real quick. So basically now this will mount in here, and this is perfectly flush there, and this will be on the wall. You figure out how that goes, like this, and then this shelf will go like that, and it'll slip right in there. Might be a little bit of a gap at the bottom, but it is what it is. I'd rather have that little gap so that it'll give the shelf a hair of a pitch on it, and that'll keep it so nothing. I don't want the shelf tilted forward. I'd rather have it back a 1/16 of an inch so that the bottles would slide to the wall rather than sliding off the shelf. Okay, so now what I did was I made a piece. I took a piece of 16 gauge steel and made a fence that screws into the bottom of the base of the router, and then I bent a 90-degree over here. And then when I bent it, it has a little bit of a radius which follows the radius that I routed into this edge yesterday. Now, need to make a groove, 9/16 wide, 3/4 of an inch from the back over. I'm using a 5/8 bit because I'd rather the slot be a little bit bigger than the brass channel that's going to go in there to hold the glass. It be too tight and the guy can't get the channel in there. So if this is 5/8, he could just drop his channel in and slide it to the front edge here, and there'll be a little bit of a gap on the back side, which won't hurt anything. That just guarantees me not to have to go back and fix something because it doesn't fit. So, and it also gives him a little bit of wiggle room. So I need to make notches that come straight down the back of the shelf here and then dead end into the wall. So I got to make these L cuts, but I got to go all the way down both sides on all 4 pieces. So it's 8 cuts. Needs to be a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to do it in 2 passes. I'm going to do 1/4 inch on the first pass, then a 1/4 inch on the second pass. So basically what I'm going to have to do is, I'll set up the camera again and I'll show you, but I'm going to do the first pass on all 4 pieces, shelves, both sides, 1/4 inch down. Once I get all those done, then I'll rerouter it again down to a 1/2 inch. So let me get set up and we'll put this groove in next. So basically that's it. I just got to do that on all 8 sides and then come back and cut the next groove deeper. Okay, so I've got one shelf complete, ready to get the brass glued in. I got to do these other 3, finish routering these other 3, but you can see how I did this here. So there is a brass track that sits in here, and it comes like this, and then it 90s over to the back wall. And then what happens is the wavy glass is going to sit in that brass track on top of a strip of LED lighting. Now the LED light wire is going to come from the back of the shelf through here and then over and hook up. So everything will be underneath that brass track. Oh, I'm sorry, the brass track will go in, the LED light will go into the brass track, and then all the wires and everything will be run through the back. So that's how this is going to work. So basically I'm going to get these other 3 routed the rest of the way, and then we will be ready to glue the brass to the shelf. And then once that dries, I can belt sand it, do final sanding to it, and it's ready for stain. Okay, all the grooves are done for the glass and the LED lighting. Now I'm going to start working on gluing in these brass strips for tonight. Let it set overnight. Tomorrow I'll make another video. I'll belt sand it down, sand them all down, stain them, and I'm going to spray satin clear on top of them, automotive clear. So let me get set up here and we will get going on the brass. Okay, so I got some contact cement right here. Probably going to have to put 2 coats on, 2 on each surface. I'm going to use a paintbrush because obviously I cannot get a foam roller in that groove in the wood. So I think it's just going to be easier for me to just use a paintbrush. And as you can see how the metal sticks to each other. Oh, Jesus. I'm sure the brass should stick just fine to the wood with this stuff. This is for countertops and stuff like that. I'll have to read and see what else they recommend it for. So basically I'm just going to paintbrush this in here, and it's going to get on the surface, but I'm going to sand that off tomorrow. Really not much I could do about it because it'd be too hard to, I guess I could tape it off, but then I run the risk of the tape sticking underneath the metal. Now, because this is wood, you want to put at least 2 coats on because it's literally going to soak in extremely fast on the first coat because it's so porous. Metal's not going to soak in as quickly. It's actually not going to soak in on the metal. It's just going to kind of sit on the surface of the metal. But if you don't put it on both surfaces, you're not going to get a good bond. Okay, now I'm guessing the wood's probably already dry. Yep, pretty much. I mean, it's a little sticky, but definitely not a lot. So now this coat's going to start sitting on the top surface. It's not going to want to adhere or soak into the grain of the wood. So now we're going to start getting glue that's going to want to start to stick. Okay, I'm gonna let that set for a little bit, and then I'll be back and we'll stick it together. Okay, this does bond laminate, veneer, metal, wood, plastic, and more. So it's gonna be totally fine for this brass. Okay, let's see if this stuff will stick. I ended up putting a third coat on the wood. I got a rubber mallet here. Wrapping it around the back edge so that I can put a screw back there and keep it from wanting to pop out. Keep in mind, this is all going to get sanded with the belt sander. The reason why I have to hit it down with a mallet is because there's a lot of glue on the edges, so I need to really beat it down into the wood so that it ends up flush, so I don't have to do a ton of sanding. Okay, I just need to cut that to length. But that's what it's going to look like, and once I sand it with a belt sander, we're going to do a nice grain. It'll have a nice like brushed brass look, and then I'll take some painter's tape and tape this off, stain the wood, leave the tape on, clear it, because if I take the tape off and clear over the brass, I'm afraid that I will fill in the sanding marks that I leave in the brass with the sander, so I don't want to risk that. So I'm just going to leave it taped off while I do the automotive satin clear. It just came today. I ordered some more because I didn't think I had enough, so that is here for tomorrow. So basically I'm going to spend a little bit more time, get these other three done, and then let them set overnight. I probably could sand it, but you know what, this glue is still pretty sticky. Let's let it dry overnight, give it a full cure so that I don't run the risk of, I don't know, the belt sander grabbing the metal and moving it or something. So, all right, guys, well, that's going to end this video. Tomorrow, I'm going to come back. We're going to sand this stuff down. We're going to get it stained in the spray booth, and then we are going to clear it. Probably let the stain set an hour or two before I do the clear. So this is just a different project than I normally do. Normally I'm working on cars or arcade games, but you know, this is for that bar that I did the curved, where I built the curved bar a couple months ago. This is the same building. It's just about ready to open, and they wanted the back bar done, so now we are getting the back bar finished up. Okay, so that's going to end this video. Make sure you guys go to the giveaway video, and make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment on the giveaway video. It'll say, once I reach 3,000 subscribers, I'm giving away a spray gun and a shirt. So make sure you go to that video. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you're already subscribed, go to that video and leave a comment. It could say hi, period, a number 1, 2, it doesn't matter what you put in there, just put something in there, because what happens is once I hit the 3,000 subscribers, I am going to use an app that is going to pick one random person that has subscribed to the channel and leaves a comment on that video. It'll automatically randomly pick one person. So make sure you guys go and do that, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And also share, like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Thanks.